Hello, welcome back. I think shortly we may have seen in our previous introduction video the stairs of NCQA framework, and we've seen they may be broken into different subsystems. And I think you can see on my left, you can see some items in terms of what you see here, TVET, you can see higher learning, of course you can see the general education, and these are concepts that has guided you to see, okay, you begin with general education, you may proceed with TVET, or you may go directly to higher learning. So this is a good idea of how the national credit qualification framework may look like. In many organizations or many institutions, you may see, even in South Africa, national qualification framework, other country you may see qualification framework. So these are the guidance of how qualification is developed and how people go through learning and assessment before they get qualified in this particular aspect. Okay, now let's see. Now, in continuation of this concept I mentioned earlier, we're going to get into a deeper concept where we understand the NCQA framework. This understanding guides us to align ourselves with how our qualification has developed. Now you can see on my left we have level 1 to level 10. Is that correct? Yes, we have level 1 to level 10. So you can see the graduation of our qualification all the way to level 10. So it depends on where you get or you've gotten your qualification. Now you may start from PSLE or primary school, continue to junior secondary school, and probably most of us may proceed to BG. But there are people who may also decide, okay, maybe that would not be the best route. And of course, from junior, they may prefer proceeding to technical vocation. And these days, even technical vocation allows progression up to all the way to masters. It's only that most of the countries or jurisdictions have not really developed because of lack of resources in technical vocation, where you may realize most of the institution in technical, they end up to diploma. Only a few that may go up to the degree level. In most cases, traditional, we've seen maybe from technical route, maybe people now tend to get into probably the higher learning, and that's the only way probably they tend to progress all the way to masters. So looking at your qualification, you can actually explain or tell how you have graduated your qualification. So this is the framework that BQA uses. When you evaluate your qualification, you are granted in one of these levels on your evaluation of qualification report. Now on my far right, you may see what we call a credit, meaning credit transfer. Every qualification level you complete, you're awarded a certain amount of credit, meaning I would say notional time that you take in completion in gaining the value of your training and assessment. Now it doesn't depend on time, it all depends on the technicality of that qualification. You're going to see at the lower levels, you may have noticed these are the areas that probably you could have been supervised. There was not really much task in terms of technical, there was no research, probably there was no self-discovery much of that was guided or monitored by the trainers. But as you graduate up, you realize now it became more technical, where research was involved, okay, probably projects was involved, where there's so much of self-discovery. And that's why you may see as you go higher, you may notice that at the highest level, you're granted more credits. Give an example. If you have a PhD, rarely you get to see classroom attendance. Most of it is either research, you're writing a project, or you're writing a research. So the credits are awarded not because of the amount of time that you spend. It could be part of it, but more so the value you derive out of the output of that particular qualification through self-discovery, what sometimes we call notional learning, that probably some of it may be through homework, assignment, a little bit maybe of attendance, a little bit maybe of self-discovery online, but most of it is the value you derive from self-discovery and the value in terms of the project you come up with. So you're looking at the NCQA framework and how NCQA framework look like, and going forward, connect with this particular framework so that you can see in most cases how your qualification may fit in within this level. So I think this is very clear. Now, something else we need to notice is that when it comes to diploma level, and probably I can highlight, now you may see some elements where in some framework, qualifications may be divided into advanced and probably normal diploma. In our case in Botswana, we only have a level 6, where as long as the diploma level falls within 240 credits, then you're awarded that particular diploma. So most of our diploma folds also differentiate between what we call bachelor's degree and also bachelor degree with honors. If you look at level 8 perhaps, you may notice this is a top-up of bachelor's degree. Someone may complete and then maybe go and do a postgraduate certificate before they do masters, or probably they may do probably diploma, postgraduate diploma before they do their masters. And of course, you may see they do bachelor's degree with honors, an addition of postgraduate in terms of a bachelor's. So that's why you see some of the components here may not be that high credit granted, because it's a top up before you get to your masters. So we need to appreciate some of these concepts so that you're able to understand better how to link out of this particular component. Now, in conclusion, I want us to just have a simple benchmark of what we may call other jurisdiction. If you look at South Africa, you can see it's almost relevant to what we have in Botswana. Now, if you look on my left, I have the National Qualification Framework of South Africa. On my right, blue colored framework is more of Australia. Now, something surprising in Australia, like I mentioned earlier, you can see when it comes to diploma, now there is a breakdown of advanced and normal diploma. Now, funny enough, you may also notice something here, that also diploma, advanced diploma and associate degree is also categorized in level 6. So sometimes we should not be confused because the qualification is known as a degree. It all depends, like I mentioned earlier, with the credits that you've been awarded. Of course, others are more or less similar to what we may have in our levels in Botswana. So I'll stop here because this was based on going through the NCQA framework, and appreciate the concept so that you are able to connect with your framework in terms of what you may have in relation to national credit qualification framework. Research a little bit more with other jurisdictions so that you can appreciate more how different frameworks fall in place. Thank you. I'll see you shortly to look at classification of our qualification and what field our qualification is placed in terms of the national classification framework or other classification fields in which we connect with the levels we see here. Thank you. See you shortly.